It is your Tuesday morning, and you are here for Extra Shot. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Megan, Cornelia, both not here, but I've got something better. I got something better. We have two guests this morning. So we've got Rob Carl-Mark, meteorologist in the mornings. Also, we've got Michelle Apon, who does weather and traffic for us every morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I should have worn pink, but that's just the way it goes.
Right. You don't match us at all, unfortunately.
Same brain for the two of us today. So we're going to go in on a couple of different topics. The first of which is one that I think the parents will get a good reaction out of this morning. Michelle and Rob are both parents. So let's start in New Jersey, shall we? There was a school, and their yearbook obviously just came out. The end of the year wrapped up for this high school. And in the yearbook photos for a couple of the students, their photos were actually edited. They were altered. So you're looking at your screen now. The one on the left is how the photo was taken. You see the Trump campaign slogan on the shirt. If we can lose that lower third, you can see the one on the right. There we go. It is just a black shirt. It was edited out. So that clearly is an issue, right? This person did not wear just a solid black shirt for the photo, but when the yearbook came, clearly things had been changed and edited. And then there was another student who complained that this also happened to them. Another student who said that they had a Trump-inspired quote at the bottom of their picture, and that was actually taken out for some reason.
So not even the name, but a quote.
Exactly. The quote was taken out. So the school district is basically saying, you know what, this is not okay. The superintendent came out to say that the teacher, the advisor for the yearbook, has been put on suspension. The incident of how it all happened, whether it was the teacher who encouraged the student to do it or what, we don't really know the full backstory, but we do know the district's investigating, and the superintendent has said they're looking at this as censorship issues and also a violation of First Amendment rights, because now parents are complaining, saying, hey, there's nothing in the handbook that said my kid couldn't wear this kind of clothing on the yearbook photo, and the superintendent actually encouraged kids to share their opinions and to speak their mind in a positive way if they felt they wanted to. So what do you think? Do you think that, you know, what should happen to the teacher? Clearly, none of us are saying that it was okay that it got edited and altered. But if you're a parent and you see something like this happen, what's your opinion?
Well, first of all, you cannot do that without notifying the student, without, and also whoever is in charge of the yearbook. If you are, maybe they did that innocently, thinking, okay, well, we can't have political statements as an assumption, okay, and maybe just a candidate's name, maybe they construed that as being a political statement. But if you're in charge of the yearbook, I mean, this is a permanent thing that will last for all time, and you are now changing the history of what that student stood for, his choice, and what he wanted to do. You can't do that. And if she's unclear about this, I believe it's a woman that you said. Okay, if you're unclear about it, then you run it by the superintendent. So that way they're all on the same page, because for some school districts, they do have rules about what you can or cannot wear for the yearbook photo, and clearly in this case, they say it's okay, what they did was wrong, and now she's suspended.
Somebody did chime in on Facebook, and Donna, thank you so much for chiming in. That's school rules. My daughter is not allowed to wear political clothes at all, so she's actually happy that the school is allowing students to express their personalities, their political views. But it's unfortunate, like you guys said, that they are censoring your own beliefs or whatever you want in a photo. It's a public school. So,
and the interesting thing about this too is the woman who is allegedly behind all of this, the yearbook advisor, has been an educator for 21 years, 18 of them in the current school district that she's teaching in, according to reports. And so it's not like this is new territory. If she's been behind the yearbook in years past, she knows that this is something that probably wasn't okay, but we don't know, did they go through and edit or alter any of the other photos, or only the Trump-inspired ones? And it looks like only those.
Right, and that's really the key question. I mean, as they go back, what they will probably do is look at, okay, was it all political messages from all candidates, both that were currently running or maybe in the past, and then they're going to go through this person's history and find out if this happened before, any other complaints. So this may just be an individual that was making a choice that affected the yearbook and that gentleman's final photo. But you know what? Now that it's been brought to light, it'll probably never happen again.
Yeah, probably not.
But yeah, you know, here's what I think is probably a more interesting thing. In high school, there is this transition when, you know, you don't have all the rights when you're under 18. You know, you have certain things in the Bill of Rights. Obviously, we always talk about the First Amendment, but some of that stuff doesn't actually click over until you're 18 plus. There are some things in some moments in your life when you're under 18, when you're a young and a teenager, you can't do everything that you can as an adult. And I know it sounds like a weird thing, but there's so many examples. Could you run around on your high school campus saying curse words? Or could you do other things? As an adult, you could, but in a school, you can't. There's always these restrictions about what rights you have and then when you get them. So there's a gray area there.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say too, I didn't know if you were going to say something. No, I agree. No, it was interesting. I think not only is there a gray area, Rob, but I also think that when parents and kids are having these conversations, 18 years old, you are legally old enough to vote. So if these were seniors and they were at a stage in their high school careers where they were able to vote and politically, if they wanted to take a side and then voice that in the regard of being able to show that in their yearbook photo, they are completely within their right to do that. But, you know, we also read a lot of stories and heard a lot of stories earlier last year about kids getting shamed for wearing Trump-inspired hats, Make America Great Again, when they were at school. And so it's unfortunate because clearly our country is divided almost 50-50 about what happened with the election last year. So it's unfortunate that somebody could express their, you know, right to an opinion and then have somebody bash them for that. But I commend these students who did this, and it's a shame that they were basically silenced in the yearbook photo.
Yep.
I feel like in my high school, though, if I wore something like that and I look back at my photo, I probably wouldn't have even remembered anyway. So the fact that we're even talking about this, I want to go back to my yearbook and see that this happened when I graduated high school or, you know, middle school or anything like that. It's just a very interesting topic. And I want to let you guys know that we have been getting so many comments. So you guys are really great for weighing in. I saw one on the other side of the spectrum. Shannon Massey says, seriously, I think that a teacher should not be suspended. There shouldn't be any political statement made in the yearbook. So again, we're getting both sides, opinions. Keep them coming. We want to see them, and we'll read them here.
And again, the superintendent of that school district did say that that was allowed, that they were allowed to share their political, you know, ideology in whatever way they wanted. So
every school district's different. Within this situation, the superintendent saying, hey, it's allowed, you did it, and then what they did was wrong.
Okay, so keep weighing in. Thank you for that. We're also going to move on to another story.